Hey everyone, I'm Phumzile Sitole and you're listening to SyFy Sistas.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the SyFy Sistas podcast, where we give you our point of view. I'm your host, Tamia Harper, and I'm joined today by my sisters, Sabrina Wood,
Woo-hoo.
Yvette Blackman-Tom,
Hello.
and Fran T.
What's happening?
What's happening, Fran? We're proud members of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network, and on this here network, we've got a really good show for you today because we have a sister of our heart with us. We got to meet her at Trek Long Island, and we were so excited to meet her. We've loved her work. American audiences, you'll probably familiar with her from Orange is the New Black and The Good Fight. But in our world, in our hearts, she is General of Earth, General Ndoye. And she is none other than Phumzile Sitole. Welcome to the show, Phumi.
Yay!
Yay!
Really, thank you for having me.
Well, we're really excited to have you. I feel like when we got to meet each other at Trek Long Island, it felt like you were just family. Like your heart is so big and your smile brightens the entire room and you make everybody feel so comfortable. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. You made us feel so welcome.
I appreciate that. Thank you. That was a lot. It was really special. It was a great one.
It was super cool, right? That was your first convention experience, right?
First convention, and I really loved it so much. Yeah, it's a great experience.
It was a lot of fun. We had a blast at that convention. They did a great job, and I can't wait for next year because I think it's going to be even better next year. You know, it was really cool. We had all of you guys from Disco on there. That was really lovely. Had you been able to see any of those folks in between, or is this your first time seeing a lot of them?
A lot of them, it was my
recently?
first time. It was the first time actually meeting Raven in person. We had never worked together, so I've never met her ever.
Wow.
And it was crazy how much she felt like family. We just had a FaceTime call the other day for so long, and it's just so, honestly, that convention was like solidified us because we were just like, oh my goodness, thank goodness.
You look like you were
my
old
whole life.
Right?
Yeah, it was one of those moments. So it was the first time meeting her. I hadn't seen David for a while, but he's always been like a brother mentor to me. So I couldn't get enough of just hugging him and squeezing all the life advice out of him that I could. Which I always do. I'm like, David. Yeah, I haven't seen them for a minute.
Oh, that's so cool. When you saw you and Raven together, it really looked like there was a heart connection. We thought you guys had been besties, for a long time.
We had literally met that convention.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's so cool. So the first thing I want to ask you, I just want to put it to bed, because a lot of people say, Jonathan Frakes was all up on the Ready Room, and he was talking about how you were saying that you were considering giving up acting before you got this role on Discovery. Is this true?
It's so back and forth. It's so funny because the last podcast I did, so I was mostly talking about in this country. I was just kind of like, this is really tough. Mm-hmm. Auditioning has not been going my way. It's very strenuous, and it had just been a really tough process for me. I coming here, you have to work on an O1 visa, which means that you can only work as an actor. So that means
wow.
bread and butter, and to survive, trying to get money. My family's not crazy wealthy at home, trying to get like the rand conversion of cents to like survive here, maybe do an under the table job, which I shouldn't probably be saying. Like, I just was not making ends meet because I can't legally work with anything else but an actor. Now I'm on a green card, so it's a different situation. Thank you, God. But at that time, that wasn't the case. And just not booking was getting to the point that I just cannot sustain myself. So it was getting to the point where I was just like, I can't make ends meet. I don't think I can sustain myself in this country. I need to figure out what to do next. And that was going to entail probably going home and figuring out what the next steps was. It was never a matter of checking out of my calling as an actor, which I think is what he heard. That was never the case. But it was definitely a matter of, if I hadn't booked that, it was going to be a real reckoning with where to go next, physically, or just stepping out of the industry in this country. And like, I don't think I could have sustained myself in America realistically on that visa as an artist.
Yeah. I had no idea. That's really interesting. See, this is why I wanted to ask you that, because I'm reading this stuff and I'm hearing this stuff and I was like, really?
Yeah.
Because that doesn't sound right.
Not with the past work and everything else you had done. It didn't sound right that, I'm going to give up. Like, why? You were doing really great.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm also I'm a theater kid, right? So
you're such
a part of me was just like, oh, well, maybe TV is not for me. I'm going to go back to do theater. I love theater. That was, for me, that's not a loss. I was never like stepping out of acting. I was like, I'm going to go kick it on the stage for a while. Maybe I'll go back and try theater. I mean, TV and film again. Sure, it'll always be there. But stepping off the stage or stepping out of a costume or a character's never really where my soul would let me. I could never be content in like being a lawyer or a suit. I'm
right.
Yeah.
So I think that I think he maybe didn't get it that way.
Right.
That same stage love as David. That's another thing that you guys connect with. You and David Ajala, both stage trainers, stage lovers.
Yeah. That is something that we spoke about. I remember having a long chat with him actually about that. We were talking about that on one of the set that we were all. It was actually season 4, the last season that I was on. We were on the main, like where they brought all the delegates in, and we were like in that scene. And I remember because he comes and does that speech. And I remember speaking to him about, I had just been watching like lots of different, during the pandemic, they released like the National Theatre had recorded so many of their productions. So I've just drunk in so many of these theatre productions. So I was just talking to him about it. And I've never been to the UK and I've never been to London. I'd love to work on one of those stages one day. So I was just telling him how like I just admire a lot of the productions that have come out of his hometown and his countrymen. So that is this thing that I've touched base with him on, and I would love to watch that man perform on stage. I think he's a force in general.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. I would love to see that too.
I would love to see both of you perform.
Yes. Yeah, because he was in a production or two with Patrick Stewart. David was.
Yeah.
He was. I don't want to say which Shakespearean play. But
say it again, Sabrina.
It was Ronaldo.
Yes.
Okay.
Amazing.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. He always mentions Patrick Stewart as a force or his mentor or someone who's always championed him. So, so I always thought that was pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Oh, you theater kids.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead. No,
I was saying Raven also was talking about the theater also, and all of her all the things she's doing up in Canada. So it was pretty cool seeing all three of you together and knowing that you're all these theater kids. I'm from New York, so the theater is huge for us, and I just love when actors come from the theater. They seem like they're just different type of people and different type of actors. And I don't know. They envelop the roles a little better, than most.
And they all wind up on Law and Order.
It's true though.
Those are some acting folks on that show.
They really are.
They play those parts, and you can tell the ones that come from the theater versus the ones that don't come from the theater.
That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Without trying to say it.
It can be a really tough transition. It's like I really respect like film and TV actors because there's so much nuance that I also had to learn as a theater kid. Like, oh my gosh, I remember my first agent in South Africa, R.I.P. She's since passed on, but I remember talking to her and she was just like, yeah, you do a lot with your face. I was like, what do you mean? She's like that. Camera, that's too much for camera. I was like, oh no. So like small things like that I guess people that are just trained and in front of a camera are used to, whereas theater kids are just like every part of our body says something, and I'm so used to using my body to tell a story more than words. And quite enjoy, and I go back to, and I can even feel myself now, having worked in TV for a few years now, kind of thirsting for that avenue and my body, and wanting to be in front of a live audience, because I think there is a different kind of communion. I think there's something to be said about letting people put down their phones and put it on silent, and having people sit in a dark room and having their souls there and their heartbeats there, and having your heartbeat there, and having a shared experience and a story in a room together. It's just a different thing. And I will always go back to the stage. That's one thing that I can't leave, and I don't think it'll ever leave me. And I'm lucky to have had and been birthed from it. I say as an actor, yeah.
Well, it didn't leave you when that first scene when you said we coming now, and you got on the bridge. Like, okay, sister. And your body language was like, she's in this. The way you stood, like it was all there, and the way you talked and commanding, and I'm like, okay, y'all gotta listen to her. So it's still there. I tell you, I saw that, and of course I've seen it over and over again, but every time I see it, I see your command with the body language in there. I see you take over the role with the body language and the talking, but the body language was really there.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
I appreciate it. I think, one thing helps is costumes. I mean,
oh yeah.
Trisha Phillips is a genius. And
she is.
Oh God,
that's one thing that really took my breath away about that set of Disco is going in and having, Shauna and Gersha and then Reed and three heads that are these Black people that are just like, this is our story, and this is, our art form, and this is the story we're telling, and this is the medium we're using to tell it. And I mean, I stood in front of Gersha for like an hour at some point, and her detail, the minuscule details, and the shoes she put me in. That's what made me stand that way.
The hat.
Right. So it's like that team effort to like.
That's great.
That posture is also due to her, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all hail Gersha Phillips. Like, she is a queen, man. God, I would just love to have her on the show sometime. Pick her brain too. She's got so much respect for her. So much respect. I mean, what she's doing is she's just, we're going to sing her praises always.
I have a question about your comments. I just watched the episode like maybe 2 hours earlier because, like for the 20th time.
Which one? Like the first People of Earth?
People of Earth. I love it.
Yeah, such a good episode.
Like, oh, a view screen. How quaint.
I know. It's just like,
but
The best line.
Gersha, did you meet Gersha first, or did she design the costume or did she meet you and then design the costume, or is it the other way around? Like, how does it?
I definitely had a sketch before I came in.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. She had something already, but I had to come in about I think a week or 2 weeks before, so she can have an initial meet and then work around that and do alterations as quick as they could before coming on set officially. Yeah.
you wore that uniform. You wore it.
You know how we can cosplay that. That was like, it's like
I know, and I
can see Fran cosplaying that.
Oh yeah.
With the hat.
With the hat.
Y'all know I'm a hat person.
Your haircut.
Yeah.
That's what I
Perfect.
had.
I know.
They really wanted me to have your gray. That's what they wanted.
Okay.
Did they?
Oh really?
Yeah. Okay.
Because they were worried that I was a bit young for the
Too
role.
young for it, yeah.
For the leadership role.
See, that's what I loved about it, because you came busting on there like,
I know.
I'm Captain Ndoye, and I'm gonna shoot right now.
She came from the horror training. Shoot first.
Ask questions later. If you don't get this ship out the way, I'm gonna shoot right through you. I said, that's my girl right there.
Right? I said, now that's a sister.
Right.
Had been a sister. We knew it was.
What'd you say, Phumi?
Maybe a little too trigger happy.
I'm just saying.
There was some history there.
Lived experience.
Right.
Right.
She wouldn't be the one parking her car in the city and leaving it unlocked or leaving bags out where you can see them and stuff. No, she's the one's like, no, I got my city smarts on. We're gonna hit this up first. We're gonna hit first.
Then they brought you back.
Right.
That's when you were interacting with David a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something we was like, okay, at the end when you if people haven't seen this stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's SyFy Sistas, number one. We don't do we don't do the spoiler free zone. Everybody knows that by now.
Yeah. And we was like, okay, when you drove the shuttle and everything, we was like, okay, she redeemed herself. Mm-hmm. The sister got it. She got it together. She redeemed herself.
We were so
glad that you survived.
Right.
Yeah.
You
really glad that you survived.
Right.
But I like that they gave you a great storyline. They brought you back and gave you a very, not you weren't there for dressing. You were there, and you were important to the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know whether you were going to make it or not.
We didn't.
I love that you got brought back for a significant part of the story.
Right.
So I mean, because the when you came onto the scene, I mean, we were all like, "Oh, wait, we weren't expecting you," and then we got you. Like, give me more, and then they did, and they gave us more storyline, not just more of you just kind of standing in the background. So that was definitely appreciated.
Pivotal part of the story.
Definitely.
Right.
I love that.
It was really.
It's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a while, hasn't it?
Well, I mean, what I was going to ask you about, playing a powerful woman like Ndoye, and then I know that you played Antigone, and are these the type of roles that you really like to search out? Because I mean, how important is it for you to play a role like her?
I if I'm honest, I think those roles that's what I get cast in. And I'm okay with that. I don't think it's a thing I can run from or change or escape. I'm very much happy to to portray those women. And I think there's something to be said about where their vulnerability lies that I'm more interested in working towards finding. I think I can't escape those characters, and I think there's more in my path. And as a young actor, I think what I'm curious about finding is their soft spots. I think so much of Ndoye, especially in 4, that scene that I think for me was really my favorite, but also was really tough, was when Michael and Rillick confront her, and she really finds out for the first time that it wasn't Book that she was to. It really, really breaks her heart. Because I think she was leading with absolute certainty that she was doing the right thing, even though she was going against everyone else. And I think I was trying as much as possible to bring as much vulnerability, because there's something about, we all know, like, they see a strong Black woman and they don't see the humanity or the vulnerability that's behind the reasons we have to be strong. And that for me is the mission behind those characters. Like, if you're gonna throw those women on me, I want to throw that about them back on you. I want to throw their vulnerability and their pain and the things that you don't see about them back on you. And it's just something that I want to work towards revealing more. And like the layer that I want to peel back is what they think they know about those women.
Oh, I love that.
I love it.
I love that. Because her pain was so visible. We really were heartbroken with her. We went on that journey with her, and you made it so real, so palpable that, I get that. And I appreciate that, because we tend to get these monolithic portrayals, the archetype, at least like I know, like on Discovery, people are trying to think through those tropes, right? And they're at least trying to not give us the same old that we always get. But, I know I see what you're saying though, about like people wanting to cast the strong Black woman and writing the strong Black woman, and, how it doesn't allow us the space to be human.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And kudos to the writers for that. Sorry. Yeah, no, kudos to the writers for writing in the room for that. But definitely for me, I think even in Orange, even in the character that I played, Acres, like there's so much to the reality that these women, I keep being met with these women in the roles that I'm cast in Antigone's, and I'm just curious about what it is about me and where it is in my own life that, the resistance or where that bridge is between the strength and the vulnerability. Toughness for myself, I think, is also what is interesting to bring to the character and show that transition and that toughness in the character, because I just think it's relatable for anyone.
Yeah.
We've all been there, just not in space.
Exactly.
Yeah. Not when there's something headed towards Earth.
Right?
Stakes were a little bit high, just had to make some choices.
Yeah.
Well, I had the same moment even in the one I just watched, People of Earth. And again, you were so sure that Wynn was a raider, that they were coming to Earth, and that one scene, like I just saw it again, and when you just said that, when they take off his helmet and you realize he's a human, the look on your face was just, what? And
human?
It just hit me when you said it, because I just watched it and I said, there it is again, that I can't believe I've been doing this and I can't believe this is happening. And that moment is just so amazing. That whole scene was just great. I'm like, I just love this episode. I was just really happy I got to watch it again before talking to you.
Yeah.
Your eyes. You know? You're human? Oh.
Did you say my eyes, friend?
Your eyes, yes. Your eye. I sit down and I watch TV, I watch stuff. But I go below the surface, and what people are doing or portraying, and your eyes, because you have beautiful eyes and they're so expressive.
Thank you.
And when you said that, like Sabrina said, oh, wait a minute, it was believable. It's like when you said, you're human, and in your eyes, I saw, oh my gosh, we've been wrong. And these are our people. And I just saw it in your eyes.
So the whole thing, right? And then
what are
we going to do now? And how do we make up for it? Like we saw the whole conversation happening.
That's that theater.
That's
I'm so glad, because that is definitely my one thing that I'm like, every time I watch, like, I don't like watching, but when I do, I'm like, my eyes are too big. I can't stand it. How do I make my eyes smaller?
Oh, no.
No
way. That's a great.
Nope. I think David said, I don't even know if I was telling him that my eyes were my insecurity specifically, but he said something about like, whatever you think is the thing that's like your thing that you don't like, or the one thing that you're trying to change. Like he was saying something about like lean into that. Like that's the thing that people probably love the most about
it.
He said something about that. So listening to you now, I'm like, did you say my eyes?
Your eyes. And I know Dave wasn't going to say anything about eyes. Not him. But those eyes he has.
Yeah.
David Ajala.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about something, and please tell me like if I'm wrong. And I'm just sort of interested, because you come from a place, and living in this country as a Black person, it's like you're most often a minority in most places where we live. Like I've been blessed to grow up in DC, which is Chocolate City, and live around a lot of other Black people, right? But a lot of us don't get the option to the good fortune to live around a lot of Black people. But you growing up, you're in South Africa, you're around a lot of other Black people. You're learning to act there. You're getting on the stage there, and you're starting to tell stories to a lot of other Black people, right? But then in this country, and the reason I was thinking about this, because I was thinking about like every time I write, like sometimes like I'm writing going, who's my audience, right? Like I remember in one of my writing classes, like I was writing a story, and it was very like based in the South, where my family is and where I'm from. And this white teacher of mine was like, I don't understand this word and I don't understand that word. And I found myself like rewriting the story before I caught myself so that she could understand it, instead of just writing it to the audience that it's meant for, right? Mm-hmm. To my culture. And I was just wondering if I know this is a really roundabout sort of hodgepodge way to say it, because I don't have like the thoughts completely formulated about it, but like playing roles, telling stories in South Africa or in a majority Black space versus telling stories here in a country where Black people are not the majority. Like, is there a difference in how you approach the roles, or does it make a difference? Do you feel that difference at all?
I think I do. I do. Given that my first two roles were American women on such vast spectrums of reality, you had this woman working in a law firm, fight as Delroy Little's assistant, and then you had a prisoner, right? Two kids, who's in maximum security, probably for the rest of her life. And then this South African girl who's from an all-black experience, not all-black, but like entering into these women's experiences. So stepping into Ndoye was also very trippy for me because I was playing a South African, well, speaking with my accent or whatever. I actually find those roles kind of harder to do. It's kind of easier to step into someone else's shoes fully. It was, I was happy to do it because she was captain of Earth and I was in space. So I stepped far away from myself. But having those two women be like my first like branch into like, especially the TV film industry, was actually such a gift in and of itself, especially here in this country, because I got to understand so much of an experience. You're like you're saying that I didn't grow up in. And I think I've come to understand that I mean, granted, the Black experience for me it'll always be universal. Yes, I'm from a majority Black country, but I'm still from a country that, I mean, apartheid was 5 minutes ago, right? And I'm from a country that, as much as the white people are in a minority, there's still so much white leadership in a sense, and so many white people in some sort of financial power that there's still an imbalance that is very similar to what I experienced living here. Yeah. I feel like the only difference is it's a weird numbers thing in terms of visually. And that said, for me, I don't know. There was a clarification of like, we're one and of the same being in those shoes. And that sounds like a cop out, but it really did feel like such a stepping towards myself being in their shoes, especially when it came to Acres. I specifically resonated with her because I did very minimal but somewhat work in prisons back home, and so did my dad. And there was something about that I just often feel. I mean, I was working with men's prison juvie boys that I often just would always look at them like, oh, that's my nephew. That could be my nephew or my, I don't know, my boy cousin. You know, stepping into Acres, I was just like, this could definitely be me. I had my mom sneezed differently one day. Like the spectrum is like, it's a cough away, like in terms of reality. So I just felt like those roles just took me a step closer to who I could have been in another world, or who I am in another world. So, and that's, I think, what makes what I am lucky to do so powerful. I get to step towards a reality of an experience that I feel like I wouldn't get to have, but I do share. If that makes sense. Like
it does.
It makes complete sense.
Yeah. So as much as it's far, it just felt it felt very, very close. That makes sense.
I was really, interested in that because I think, like, I mean, across the diaspora, right? Across the African diaspora around the world, like, we all have in the core of us, we have a shared experience. Even though for a lot of people it can look different on the surface, Yeah. And I'm just always interested. I don't often get to talk to people who grew up in a different place, right? For me. And, so I'm always interested in Black people from anywhere around the world. Like, what is it like? How are you interpreting this? Like, what is it like? Because American racism can be a really specific thing. Culturally, and so, but I'm always, but colonization is colonization, that's universal in a sense. So I'm always interested in, other people's experiences from other places.
That's it. I mean, there's also so much research that has to go into those roles. That's as much as there's a familiarity and there's the universal understanding. There's so much that sets us apart that you have to do the work to discover. You can't have any assumptions that you think Acre's experience as South African. I can't even begin to understand her experience, and that's where I, as the actor, have to do the work to understand, and that takes a lot of work and a lot of research and a lot of unpacking and questioning, and you learn as you stay in it, and you learn from your peers, and you ask questions, and you continue to stay in it. And what I love about other actors, especially like behind the scenes, is they help you in conversation if you're open to it. Someone like Delroy Lindo was like, that was my first job ever, and he just like, if you ask him a question, he is a wealth of knowledge and explanation and like generosity of spirit. I remember once I was like learning a Shakespeare monologue, and he looked over at me and he was just like, "You got an audition?" And I was like, "Yeah." Why I put an audition on a professional set? I was like, "Yeah, they gave me an audition for next week." And he's like, "You like theater?" And I was like, "Love theater." And he was like, "I think you should do theater." I was like, "Yeah, but I mean, if it's competing with this, I would never do that." And he was like, "I don't know. If you really want to do the theater, I think you should do it over this."
Wow.
Like, just that one sentence was so liberating. I was just like, I learned these lines out loud.
Right?
So, thing that was really liberating for a veteran who's the lead of the show to like give me permission to learn my lines out loud, like proudly, and not hide it. He was just like, do it if you want to do it, because he knew the longevity of that goal. So I don't know.
Oh, how interesting.
I love him.
Yeah,
I do too. I was looking at Get Shorty the other day, yesterday, and he was something in that too. I like him.
I like the stories of us nurturing us, and really being there for each other, and and especially, a veteran, somebody with so much experience, just giving it away and saying like, okay, it's your generation's coming up next. You're the person coming up next, and let me impart to you what I can.
Go for it.
Right.
Go for it.
I love that. I love that. Oh my God. That's just, you just got my brain like just going in so many different directions there. I really, I love talking to you about your experience and that character Acres on Orange is the New Black, she was amazing and really powerful. I mean, like, you just played the hell out of her, and God, you are so deeply talented, and I can't wait to see like what is coming up next for you. Do you have stuff that's coming up next that you can talk about?
I do. Can I talk about it? I think I can.
Maybe.
No, it says you can. Yeah. Do it.
She's like, do it.
Did you sign one of those things?
You didn't sign that.
NDA?
I don't want to get you in trouble.
All right, we won't get nobody in trouble now because we want you to come back, so we don't want to get you in trouble.
So when you're doing it, we can do, interview, talk to you again.
Gosh, now I really don't know, so maybe I shouldn't say because I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that what I didn't say?
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. You got to work.
With strike and everything, a couple of things have been delayed, but I shot 2 different things, one towards the end of last year, which was quite fun. It is shot here in LA, which was interesting because I've lived here 2 years now. So it was nice to shoot something here.
And go home.
Yeah, and it was a good chunky little fun thing. But challenging, but was cool. And then there's something that I did just one episode on that was just one of my favorite experiences ever. I worked with a director that is very, very incredible. And it was one of those experiences, and there's this black male lead who you'll all hear about when it comes out, whatever. And hopefully they can't cut me out of that one. I actually know that they can't cut me out.
Yay!
So I know I'm in it. But it was one of those things. It was like watching him work. Man, God, I love Black people. It was like watching him take his space as like, he's also a theater actor, and just like watching him like just take his space as like a lead of a show and just like be directed and be flexible and play and getting to work with him. And like, it was like similar to working with David and his generosity and his like care and his like taking people in and like seeing the crew. And I don't know, I love arriving to a set where the number one, similar to Sonequa, is like so effervescently kind and like talented and like committed to the work, but also committed to like being present for everyone. I don't know how you balance that. I just know, like, I pray if let me not say if, when
thank you
when that is my situation, that I'm able to like handle it with the grace that they do, because I think specifically for us as Black people, we're just put under such a microscope. And I just remember like it's just sending rays of energy out towards him, like from my heart, just being like, I just hope he can just feel being held as well, being held back, because he's just so much holding of everyone else that he's just really inspiring. And it was just such a beautiful, beautiful set and experience to be a part of. It was like my favorite thing since Discovery. I'll say that.
Oh, wow.
Love that.
For the year, for sure.
So happy for you for that. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that sounds, you're right. Doesn't that sound so good?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is, but I'll be looking out for it.
Come back and talk to us when it comes out, would you please?
Yeah, there's nothing like going to a place where you love to work.
Hey.
Nothing like it. I'm sorry, what were you saying? Sorry.
No, I was just saying it's only going to be one episode, but it was so special for me. I just really loved every moment of it and everything about those people. I hope it goes really well for the rest of whatever they're doing with it and all of that. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be looking for that for sure.
Of course.
I just love how you speaking about the generosity of, like these people that we look up to. I mean, they're so important because we have these role models now, and just like Sonequa, for instance, just by the number of people that we've talked to from disco, everybody says the same exact thing.
Yep.
Like now I have a role model in my own life for my own leadership, like when I have to be in a leadership position, and, it's super important, the trickle down, the work that, like you said, like we love Black people, but we have a lot on us. There's a lot on us, but to be able to be in that position and be in that position with grace, it's a blessing, right?
Such a blessing. And it's just a tough, I think it's just a tough thing in big old Hollywood. There's it's just a different energy directed to it.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't think I'm built for that.
Nope.
I'll stay right here in DC. Thank you very much.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know how you guys do it, but I'm glad that you're out there doing it, because that's a lot to take.
I would never get into roles.
Yeah, me neither.
You'd be cussing everybody
If I got
out.
them, if I got them, they like, don't invite her back again.
Sophia said you be cussing everybody out.
Yeah, I would. I'd be doing, I would be really acting and all that, but when it comes down to the politics and stuff, I'd be like, huh? Really? You gonna do this to me? You gonna, pee in my face and try to tell me it's raining? No.
Oh God.
So I wouldn't, I couldn't make it. I barely make it where I'm at, but they like me, so hey, what can I say?
I have a completely unrelated question, okay? And not so serious. Like, this one is just, I'm interested to know, like, because Trek fans, we are so rabid.
Yeah.
A
little bit.
Yeah. We can be how did you find your reception into the Trek world? Like, how did people treat you when you came in? Because I know we were excited as hell. Like, you rocked our worlds when we saw you and when you took on this role. And I'm just wondering how people have been behaving towards you. I hope very well.
Yeah.
Good.
So, I have since kind of come off social media. Like, I deleted the Twitter. When I did have Twitter, it was pretty chill. Okay. I feel like that's how I first heard about SyFy Sistas Twitter. And then, like, there was some, like, murmurs about Ndoye and, like, but, like, my people back home were more defensive about me than, like, I was, because they treated, like, yeah, but I feel like I was fine. I don't know. I don't remember nothing jumps out at me that was like, yeah, neither good nor like bad, but like, it was mostly like, just like, yeah, let's chill.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's like a couple more followers on Instagram, a couple more on Twitter. It's pretty chill.
Okay. Just a couple.
Yeah.
No, because I mean, I was thinking that for the most part, we Trek fans, like, we just spread a lot of love for the most part. We have a few trolls out there, but the majority of us are out there, like, sending good vibes out into the world. And right. I just know, like, from our peer group, how beloved you are, how beloved the role was. Like, we automatically, like, you're ours now. And, we don't care what other role you ever get. You're a Trek. Right. You're part of Trek forever.
You're Trek. Forever.
Especially on that season 3, I was just like, oh my gosh.
And I love your gap in your teeth.
Thank you.
Just like
welcome.
Yeah.
I try to claim David with the Nigerian thing, so I'm claiming she my cousin too. The gap.
Oh yeah, okay.
Hey, y'all know me. That's what I do. My cousin.
So I have a question.
Sure.
I heard earlier when you first got the gig, you said that you had not really seen, you weren't familiar with Star Trek. I hadn't seen that much. So since you've done season 5 now, have you watched any other Star Trek? Or have you more familiar with Star Trek besides Discovery?
Besides Discovery?
Yeah.
You know what though? I'm about to like go in on Picard because my friend, really good friend, Ashley Chestnut. Ooh, I say her name messed up, but last name I can never say her name. But she is on it, and you guys should get her on this podcast because she's the most amazing human being ever. She plays LeVar Burton's daughter.
Yes.
Oh,
we would love to get her. Believe me, I am trying.
Yes.
And you know, wait, you know her? You know her?
All right, I was literally texting her today.
I appreciate you.
But she I have to watch all her scenes, so I need to stop. But I need to start from the beginning. I'm kind of like, I have a slight OCD, so I can't like watch just her. I have to
because I was gonna say, like, honestly, you really don't.
No.
You really don't.
It depends on what you mean by from the beginning. You like watch the whole season 3.
Yeah,
you don't need to go with season 1.
Season 1.
No, well, you can
watch the whole thing
because she's only in season 3.
She's only in season 3.
Okay, so here's the thing.
I know, but that's why I was going to start from season 1.
Okay.
Okay. So here's the thing. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying I can't tell people how to enjoy their Trek. I'm just going to say, season 1 and season 2, first of all, don't have squat to do with each other, and then season 1 and 2 don't have squat to do with season 3. You don't need to watch those 2 seasons at all.
I like all 3 seasons.
To understand what's going on.
You know, it's art is subjective.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
Fran is a big fan of all 3 seasons.
I am.
Me not so much.
Like story.
I know how you feel, friend. This is your Enterprise moment.
I mean, there's a lot of like some of the backstory, like honestly, like they don't even carry over that much backstory from those. I'm telling you, it's like completely different. Now, I'm not saying they're not worth it. Like season 1, me and Fran and Sabrina did some of our first shows talking about season 1 of Picard. And in those shows, we were geeking out over it. And I really like season 1.
Yeah, season 1 was good.
I'm just saying that they don't relate, like seasons 1, 2, and 3 aren't necessarily related. It's just like they're in the same universe, but they're not like this story building on this story, building on this story. You know, they're very different, individually different seasons altogether. Different
characters.
I
don't need to know anything about the characters for season 3. Like,
I mean, there's really there's no characters that survive except for Picard, and like there's only
Raffi.
1 or 2 there's only a couple of characters that make it through all the way from season 1 to season 3. So there's character development between Raffi and Seven. There's character development with Picard.
I'll watch them all.
Yeah, I'm saying exactly. I'm just saying, like
30.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that they're not necessarily thematically connected.
You can start with 3 though. You can start with 3.
Yeah,
if you want to.
There you go, and go back.
You can do it that way.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
That's a really good idea.
What else would you suggest I like throw in if I were to?
If you started at 3?
No. Outside of Picard.
Oh, outside of Picard, which ones should you?
Nine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine. That's it. All. What season should she look at?
No. You start from season 1.
Deep Space Nine. You start from season 1.
Okay.
You will enjoy season 5 the best, but let me tell you, you start at season 1, The Emissary, the best pilot of Star Trek ever.
Yes.
Deep Space Nine.
Yes, I mean we got it. Captain Avery Brooks. Yes. Avery Brooks. That's all I gotta say. Avery Brooks.
Another theater person.
Yes.
Shakespearean theater.
That whole cast is our theater.
Amazing. Right.
Yeah.
Nana
Amazing.
Visitor.
Right.
Renee Aubergenois. Like, I mean, oh my God.
All of
the
them
list goes
are
on.
fantastic.
My problem is I watch a lot of reality TV. I struggle with straight storylines. So this is exciting. I'm going to get into some stuff.
Let me tell you, you're going to be writing us and you're going to be like, girls, I watched that pilot.
I watched that pilot.
I watched
so
that pilot.
That pilot is probably the only pilot that will keep everything in that pilot is in that whole series. And
all 7 seasons.
As you go through it, you're like, oh, that's in the pilot. That's in the pilot. Yeah, it's a little
pilot,
hard. The some of season 1 is a little hard, but there's a lot of little nuggets in there. There's some really good episodes in there. There's some really crazy ones.
Oscar winners on that cast. I mean, that's the show.
That's the show.
Season 1 is like the thesis. Season 1 is like the thesis. The pilot is like the thesis statement, and everything else flowed from there. And it was so intentional. There was such amazing world building. There's such incredible character development on that show, and it just like the writing is some of the best we've ever, still to this day, have ever seen in Star Trek.
Yeah,
and the acting.
3.
And the acting
make a lot of sense when you.
What'd you say?
9.
Yeah,
when she watches Picard 3, Deep Space Nine is going to make a lot of sense to you.
Yes, because you've already seen Deep Space Nine. In season 3.
So much is before you. I'm excited for you.
Which one do I start with, though? Do I start with?
No. Start with Picard.
Start with Picard. Watch your friend, because she's so good. First of all, like she's amazing. What's her name? Ashley. Right?
Ashley.
She is great. Phenomenal. Like,
isn't she out of this world?
She is like
kindest, most beautiful human being ever.
Oh, that's nice to
Let
hear.
her know.
Yes, please, because I've been trying to get Paramount to give me an interview with her.
Email address, definitely. I
Please,
will.
thank you.
And tell her she's got some sisters out here who just absolutely adore her. Because,
yes, we do.
She is really holding her own with those veterans.
Yeah.
I mean, like really commanding commanding your attention on that screen. And I mean, she's just phenomenal. I love her. And I was like, because I was thinking, even before they started talking about this hashtag legacy Trek thing and, whatever, like, I don't care. I was just like, I was looking at her, I was like, I have got to see her in more Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely.
Yeah. She should be in more Trek.
Yes,
there should be no more
as a prominent character, as one of the lead characters.
Yeah,
absolutely,
as the pilot of the Enterprise.
That's right.
She is a pilot.
That's not an engineer.
Nope,
she's a pilot.
Yeah, and all of this is going to make sense once you watch this.
When
season,
once you see it.
Yeah, but season 3.
So excited.
Your face.
It's going to be so good. I'm telling you. I can't wait.
This is our mission, to bring more people into Trek.
Weekend plans.
That's it.
Look, you're going to be emailing us like, look, okay, I watched The Emissary. It was dope. Like, this is every email. And then you could be like, oh, I watched season 3 and then it was dope. And then
wait, duet. She's gonna be like, duet. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, duet is in season 2.
That's
of
season
Deep Space
2.
Nine, right?
Yeah. Okay.
One of the most incredible episodes. Oh
yeah,
my
it's
god.
incredible.
It'll make you cry. It'll make you. Oh my gosh, duet. Season 2, Nana Visitor she just knocks it out the park.
Yeah.
And what they did on Deep Space Nine, they did Arc before Arc was popular. They did it so it is easy. It is a great episode to binge. I mean, excuse me, a great series to binge. It's not they do independent stories, of course, but there's a connection, an overall arc to what they do. And it's great for the way people look at TV today. They did that back like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, how many
30
years ago?
30 years ago. We're celebrating the 30 years this whole year. So we've had a lot of them on the show. Yeah.
I don't want to admit 30 years ago, but okay.
I do. Hey, we're still here.
Right?
I know, but I still think the 70s were 30 years ago.
Oh,
I know. I get caught in that time warp sometimes too.
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Man, I was like,
That's right.
I'm counting my fingers. Like, wait, that's what? Wait, oh.
Yeah, I don't. Why?
No,
Just
don't
don't
go
count it. Don't count it. Just leave it be.
I'm like, I made it to 52, and I'm so damn happy about
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I'm glad and everything, but I still think the
Girl,
70s.
my
Yeah.
goodness. Let's with you.
She's the baby. She's the baby of the bunch.
Yes.
She is the baby of the bunch.
Sabrina and I watched TOS, the original series, when it first premiered on TV.
What?
Yeah, in the mid, oh gosh, in the mid 60s. Yeah, original Uhura,
Yes.
TOS. Yeah, we saw it.
And
As a
now we're
girl.
watching you.
Yep.
Yes, and we're still watching it.
Still
That's right.
Still as happy.
Mhm.
That is amazing.
It pretty much is, isn't it?
Wow.
That's it. That's it.
I'm inspired. May I look like you, please? God, may I look like you?
Girl, come on. You know.
You
know
already
black-
got
I don't
them
care,
names.
I don't
So
care
what's
where
that?
you
What
come
it
from.
is.
Black don't crack.
You know, come on
All
now.
that happiness of watching Star Trek.
That's
It
it.
is, isn't it?
It's a happy life. That's it.
But see, this is what I'm saying. Like you are part, when people say you're a part of the Star Trek family, when you are 52 and 60, you're still going to be working conventions and people are still going to be happy to see you
Yeah.
and we're still going to love you for the
That's
role
it.
that you played. And that's it. We are never going to let you go.
No.
You
We
were there
did.
in New
Sabrina
York
and
for the
I
Golden
interviewed
Girls?
the Golden Girls. Tell about the Golden Girls,
Yes,
Sabrina.
you were there in Trek Long Island. They had the Golden Girls from the first series, from the original series. They were on the stage. They were still talking Star Trek.
That's
Yep.
right. And the room was full, and everybody knew who they were and loved them.
no. We were
Yep.
so excited. Oh my God. I was so
Okay.
happy to be popular to them.
Listening audience, I just wish you could see Pumi's face right now because he's so delighted and full of wonder and this big smile.
I would be 70 still talking this show.
I know.
Yep.
And I don't have far to go.
Very
You
inspired.
know, they got this meme out that says, "Oh, Star Trek has been." This was years ago. Star Trek has been out for 50 years now, and it had all these little things. And talking about, and that also means that we have 60-year-old Trekkies. I put it up there. I said, I feel personally attacked because they had the guy looking all, old and with no, just looking old.
Look at all messed up.
Okay, here's what was funny though. Like, okay, so Phumi, I watched that one interview that you did. I mean, there's this one interview like on YouTube and you were talking about how they wanted, like the character Ndoye is supposed to be in her 40s, right?
Right.
Right. But they wanted to gray up her hair. And I was like, why are they graying her hair? She's only 40 something. Like, what the? Jesus, come on, y'all.
It's because they were finding a way to age me. And I'm like,
I'm trying to.
you need to look at Black women that are 40. They look like I look.
They do.
Same WhatsApp group. Same.
Ain't nothing changing.
You look great, but it's same. That's
Right.
not going to do nothing.
Right? I was like, that's why I was like, do they not understand Black people?
No, that's the one thing that Jonathan was like, what you think about this? Just like, no. And he's like, yeah, that's not as serious. And no, it's
Good.
not.
Jonathan, Frank,
Jonathan was
thank
like,
you.
"Right, you don't need it. Jonathan was
No.
quick to like jump off it. And that's why even when, Reed and Shauna were doing it in the makeup trailer, they were like, we just got to show them what they want to see.
Mhm. That's funny.
I feel like I'll definitely look for the photo and I will send it to you guys.
Okay. Okay.
Kind of
Please
funny
do that.
because I look ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
You're like looking like a Halloween costume.
Right. Now that's cosplay.
Right?
And I loved your haircut, by the
Oh,
way.
the haircut was
The hair was,
everything.
wasn't it?
I love that haircut.
Look at that sister hair. We notice everything.
I know. All the short-haired women, we were like, ooh, the cut on point. Like, hey.
I love it.
Oh my God. Phumzile, we could stay and talk to you all night. I mean, you are such a delight and such a joy. And folks out there, I mean, this woman's heart is big and she gives energy and love and it lights up the whole room. And we thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been such a joy.
Oh.
To the next fun thing with you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. To the next fun thing. So, Yvette, you want to tell folks where they can reach us for if they have thoughts on graying up, aging Black people before our time, because they just bitter because this shit is cracking everywhere, but ours is not.
I thought people would shout at me.
Oh Lord! Now
Please
I gotta
don't
read
send
this.
us mail like that. It's not my fault. Y'all spend too much time in the sun trying to look like us, and then your shit starts cracking. Okay, that's not my fault.
This is what we do.
Okay, I'm sorry. That was mean. I'll take it
Yeah,
back.
that was.
I'll take it back.
I gotta read this
It
now.
was a bit testy.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right.
I have a true, but it was a bit testy.
Okay, you can find us at SyFy That's SyFysistas.com. Join us on the mothership. That's MUTHASHIP. And the SyFy Sistas Book Club, both on Facebook. On Instagram and TikTok, SyFy.Sistas. And we are also on the Twitter at SyFy Sistas. Become a patron of SyFy Sistas today at patreon.com/SyFy Sistas. The Trek Geeks Network's presenting sponsor is Fansets. Go to fansets.com for pins and memorabilia from all your favorite franchises. Visit fansets.com and use Trek Geeks, one word, all caps, for your exclusive 10% discount. After listening to this podcast, please rate us and write a review. We just read it on the next upcoming episode.
Upcoming episode.
Woo,
That's
buddy.
all right. I got you, sis. I'm here for you. We may just read it on an upcoming episode.
We might.
Oh,
We don't want to hear about your melanin deficiency.
no, they don't. My melanin deficiency. And y'all, we got to thank the baddest engineer in all and any universes. That's Dose, the anonymous one. He's responsible for the music you hear on our show, as well as our Dose. As well as our engineering production services skills. But you know what I'm trying to say, y'all. I gotta go. It's tired. I'm late.
It's tired and I'm late.
It's tired, I'm late. It's tired, I'm late. All right now.
Dose is find him on Instagram at Dose_the anonymous _ number 1. We love y'all. Peace, love, and hair grease. Good night, peoples. Hi, everybody. Sister Tamia here with the shorty shout-outs for this month. We'd like to thank the following patrons for your support. It means the world to us. Bruce McMillan, Domestic, L.J., Tara Jefferson, Bernadette Garcia Galvez, Rhonda G., Kendra Stranad, Rita Poussant Nethersole, Mark Richmond, Bill Erickson, Zakia Graham, Linda Anderegg, Jeffrey Cochran, Olda Klein, Peter Heisler, Olga K.R., TJ Jackson Bay, Liza Albright, Kaylia Zawacki, Stephanie Baker, Sailor Marge, Stephanie Dole, Starbase Centaur 4210 Productions, Jamal Taylor, Scott Jensen, Ann Bradley, J.R. Poole, Howard Hogan, L.M., ADHDEC, Timothy Baum, Dave A. Gregory, Duffy Balston, Karen Dramera, Sue K., Muhammad Noor, Susan V. Gruner, and Anna Post. Thank you all so much. We love you.